Why should I hire you?
My favorite question would be, what's your passion? What is your passion? It's one thing to just come to work, but if you're really passionate about what you do, you will enjoy your work. It's not just about your job, but also how you do your job. So what's your passion?
I usually ask them what you're going to do for me in the next 30 days. I ask that because I'm looking for people that are actually going to plan out the first 30 days and actually look to achieve something. So looking for doers rather than people that are there to mark time.
I love to ask candidates about the last book they read because I'm most interested in curiosity. Are they curious? What are they curious about? It tells me a lot about them.
We asked the question, why are you choosing the travel industry to work? Is it just about the free trips or the perception of the free trips, or is there something a little bit more around this? And mostly what we're looking for are responses from potential employees around their wishes to provide services for customers, to have a fulfilling, rewarding career in an industry which has been going for hundreds of years and will continue into the future.
My favourite question to ask candidates in a job interview is, what do you see the difference between sales and operations planning and integrated business planning? And the reason why I ask this is first to understand whether or not they know what sales and operations planning is and what integrated business planning is, and the maturity of the business that goes from one to the other. And it also gives me an indication as to whether or not they understand how supply chain is integrated within the larger business organism.
Job interviews are one of the most important things we do. And what I do, when I do an interview, I start at the bottom of the resume. And I ask about things like hobbies, interests, because really what I want to know is deep down, what motivates people?
So the favorite question, or the question I always ask candidates is, what gets you up from bed every day? And I know it's a very simple question, but it's a very open-ended question. There's no right or wrong, and it's very personal. But what it does tell me, it gives me insight into what motivates an individual, what's important to him or her, what do they value, what do they look forward to. Because for me, I'm always big on attitudes and behaviors.
The go-to question I have is, what are 2 or 3 things you're really, really bad at? And what I'm looking for is A, what they're really bad at, but more importantly, the degree of introspection that they have. So if they have been honest with themselves and done a real inventory of what their areas of development are, which are their weaknesses, then there's somebody I can trust and work with. If I hear somebody say, I don't have any, then they're not going to be a good fit for us.
Tell me a situation where you've led something. It could be a group of Boy Scouts, it could be a charity fundraiser, it could be a major initiative in your company. But what I want to look for is some passion and the ability to lead something and see it through. And I also advise people, make sure you're building your trophy cabinet. And what do I mean by trophy cabinet? I mean, have those projects and those things that you've achieved that you can point to when you're in a job interview and say, well, I led this, I delivered this. It's very important to be able to quantify your achievements throughout your career.
What is most important to you in life? And where do you want to be at 60? Now that's a question you ask a 22-year-old, and they're a bit staggered. I mean, the classic is, where do you want to be in 5 years or 3 years? But I think by saying, where do you want to be? When you finish this whole work thing, do you want to be living in a huge house with a collection of the finest cars? Do you want to be on television as an expert? Do you want to be writing books? Do you want to be just hugely respected in your field? Do you want to be a CEO? Because that affects, when you're 25, you need to make those decisions. If you want to have a job where you're going to have a huge house, well, you probably need to be in a career where you're earning a lot of money. And there's no point in doing something where you're not.